Hi, I'm Stuart from Mogwai,
I'm Martin.
and you're watching Toasted.
Gentlemen, welcome to Amsterdam.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
New album out, Every Country's Son, 1st of September. You guys don't look very excited. You just arrived probably, you went to Amsterdam last night.
I'm excited about the record coming out. Yeah, we've been out talking to people about the record all week, so you're getting us on day 5. So
So it's probably hard to get some original questions in there.
oh yeah, it's not that. It's more just getting the energy to chat.
Hey, listen up. Production done by Dave Fridman, of course. He worked together with you guys about 15 years ago, on top of my mind. So why did you choose to team up with him again?
Well, we knew how he operated. He is a extremely nice gentleman. He's got a really lovely studio, very isolated studio. And I think financially we probably couldn't afford to work with him previously because we own the record label, etc. But the last 2 records have done okay, and there was a little bit of money there to maybe spend on production. And we just thought, why not? I mean, we had a really great time doing the 2 records before, and he's obviously a brilliant engineer. You know, like some of the records he's done are really great. You know, like those MGMT records sound amazing. Like the Flaming Lips records, like that album, The Terror they did was quite an inspiring record. I thought really brilliant. So.
What I thought was funny was, of course, I looked into his history as well. He got described as the alt-rock era Phil Spector by Mojo magazine. I think that's actually well put.
Yeah, he definitely has. He has a very big sound. When you see the songs he mixes as waveforms, it's just like a big black line. It's a big contrast too, because the last record we did, Rave Tapes, was quite minimal, and yeah, this is kind of the opposite in a lot of ways.
So how did this album come about? Because you didn't have a lot of time to write all the material, right?
It wasn't too bad. We pretty much spent most of last year doing it.
Let's hope that wasn't an attack.
Yeah, yeah, let's definitely hope. I think someone dropped a metal chair. That's what I'm hoping about.
Yeah.
But yeah, we spent most of last year writing the songs, and then we demoed them in Glasgow, and then we headed out to Dave's place in upstate New York towards the end of the year, and then after Christmas we went back out to America and mixed it, so actually wasn't too rushed in the end. Yeah.
Is it easy for you guys to write music? Because I mean, of course you did the whole soundtrack for, you co-wrote the whole soundtrack for Before the Flood. I can imagine that takes up a lot of your time as well, and then playing live and planning your tour and running the label.
Yeah, we've got a lot going on, but I think last year this record was the priority, and Before the Flood was a great project, but it kind of it happened very quickly, and was kind of like, do you want to do this? Yeah, okay, we need the music in 2 weeks or something. It was that quick, wasn't it? So it was like, yeah. So
Normally you get the impression for a movie you have like half a year or at least a year in advance to work on the music.
Sometimes it can go really quickly. Sometimes you just have to get into the studio and do it. And you know, when we were given that opportunity to work with those people, you really want to take it, don't you? I mean, like, we are huge Nine Inch Nails fans, so I mean,
Because how did that work? I mean, of course you got a call, you got an email to work on this, but there were like 4 parties writing the music. Did you collaborate together? Did you, or was it like 4 separate entities contributing music to the movie?
well,
both, wasn't it?
yeah, we started just sending some music, and then Trent and Atticus were like sent us back an interpretation of one of our songs, and just off the back of that, we played one of their songs. And to be honest, it would have been great to do even more. I know that like Gustavo and Trent and Atticus played on each other's songs, whereas what we did was we interpreted theirs and they interpreted ours. So I mean, there was a fair bit of collaboration, but it would have been good to be completely all over everything. But I guess time wasn't there to get that deep into it.
Wow, that's really awesome. Hey, to me as a listener, as a music fan, this is a logical follow-up to the movie. Is that the case, or is it a separate project?
Well, I think some of the music spilled over into it, didn't it? Like there's one song on our new record that was actually featured on that film that we sort of redone. So yeah, I think that when you do records so close to each other, like doing Atomic after rave tapes, I think some of that does spill onto the next. I don't think you can sort of get away from that, really.
But of course, I mean, the theme, global warming and the environment, is, and maybe I'm completely wrong, but to me it sounds like, well, this is a logical follow-up on that theme, and maybe it's not a thing you guys work with at all.
Well, I think that Atomic and Before the Flood definitely felt like kind of companions, especially because they deal with serious world issues, and the fact there was a lot of kind of quite almost random footage, so you kind of have this, I don't know, it's a certain type of music is going to work alongside that. So I definitely felt that those two were quite close to each other.
Hey, you guys played Primavera in Barcelona, which I saw the video. It was a great gig. You didn't announce it, but maybe an hour before that. No other band would ever do that. I mean, come on. Who came up with that idea, and how did that gig come about?
It was the people at the festival that suggested it. To be honest, we needed to be persuaded. We weren't sure that anyone would be that interested in hearing our new songs 3 months before the record came out. But I'm glad we were persuaded, because it was a lot of fun and a bunch of people came.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't think we were the only band that weekend to do it either, were we?
the only ones to play new songs.
Yeah, but Arcade Fire
Yeah.
did an unannounced show,
Yeah.
and so did Haim as well. So
But I can imagine as a band, like you said, that it can be tricky. Like, nobody knows your music. You don't know. Nobody knew that you guys were going to show up at all.
Yeah, it was certainly like about half an hour before we played. There weren't a lot of people there, and we were thinking, we're just going to look really silly here. This is a terrible idea. And then, but yeah, people showed up. It was
Loads of people actually showed up, people. So that was a good gig. Hey, must have been a thrill to play the new album live for the first time as well, right?
yeah, we've only done that once before. We did it once. Was it Hardcore? We did in Japan, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think with Hardcore it didn't really work as well as it did with this new record. We found with this one we could probably take all of those songs into the Mogwai set list. They all sound really good, like standalone, and would work in a normal Mogwai set. So that was good to know.
Loads of shows coming up. I saw an all-nighter in Japan on the festival. That's a pretty good lineup as well. And what does that mean in an all-nighter? You guys started like when the sun goes down, and the band stop playing when the sun comes up. Is it literally that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think hopefully we're not going to be playing at 5 a.m, but someone is.
So world tour coming up. You recorded the album in the States, in New York. Will you go back to the States and tour this album, this music?
Yeah, we've got dates there through November and December, which I'm looking forward to. We actually, after we finished mixing, we went out and played along with the Atomic film around America, and yeah, it's a good place to tour, definitely.
And also, I was thinking, is there any chance of you guys working together with Trent Reznor?
I would like to hope so at some point, if our sort of schedules allow it. I know that he was quite happy with how Before the Flood went, so
That would be a great collab.
I would love to do it. You know, he's someone I really admire. I like his music a lot. Whenever they come into Glasgow, I go and watch them play. You know, I would love that, yeah. But we'll see.
You guys, of course, are playing in Glasgow as well, and not just the smallest venue, the SSE Hydro. Jesus, that's a fucking big venue. 14,000 people seating.
It's a big place, yeah. It's kind of
Are there still tickets actually for that gig?
Yeah, yeah, there's still tickets.
Just a couple.
Did the sale just start actually? 'Cause
Yeah, no, it's been on sale all year, but no, it's looking good, and we're definitely looking forward to it. It's going to be a great way to end the year, doing our biggest show we've ever done, and yeah,
it must have been a scary decision as well to do.
Yeah, we had to be persuaded to do that. But you know what? Hopefully it's as good a decision as doing the album at Primavera. I'm looking forward to it.
I have personally little doubts about that gig. I think it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be great to play with Ride as well.
Yeah.
I'm very fond of that band. I really like their new record as well. But as a child in my bedroom with my drums, I'd sit and play along with that band. Oh yeah, totally. Great drummer, Loz, really brilliant. And I am just so excited to play with them. It'll be a great moment for me anyway.
Talking about influences, I read a couple of interviews and of course I did some research where you guys name many bands, and they're all bands that I love myself as well. So that's really cool. They're like, wow, they like this stuff too. And then I found out that for your 20th anniversary, you guys organized some gigs in Roundhouse in Camden. Public Enemy amongst them. Actually, I went to that gig. I never knew that you guys set that up.
Yeah, we did. We did, which is kind of amazing. The only sad thing about that is we didn't get to go to those gigs because we actually...
What?
No, I know. We were away somewhere else, which was kind of really sucked because some of our favourite people played at them, but...
Jesus and Mary Chain, also an
yeah,
amazing gig.
yeah.
We almost got Iggy Pop to play.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, and he wrote Stuart a really nice email apologising that he couldn't play. I think he had a show over here just before that, didn't he? And his recovery time takes a lot. The gigs take a lot out of him, you know, and his recovery time just gets longer and longer, and he can't do too many shows in a row. So
who else did you ask to do those gigs?
Yeah, I think we got almost everyone we asked, to be totally honest. I think the only person that couldn't do it was Iggy. Because who else we have? We had like the Jizza, Tortoise, Godspeed, Bardo Pond, the Mary Chain, Public Enemy. No, it was great, really good.
Actually, I thought Public Enemy was the odd one out, but in the perspective, it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they're one of our favourite bands, and yeah, musically and politically, just absolutely amazing.
One band that I didn't find that you guys named as an influence was Metallica. Still, when I listened to Every Country Song, the track, I was like, I have this Orion kind of feel about it. I don't know if you're familiar with that song. It is an instrumental track by Metallica on Master of Puppets. And it does have this haunting atmosphere. And I was like, well, fuck it, I'm going to ask this. Do they listen to that track as well?
Yeah, well, only two of the band like Metallica. And yeah, no, it is me. I like Metallica, but Barry, who wrote that song, I don't think likes Metallica. Although I remember I played him Master of Puppets one time in the car, and he was pretty into it. He was quite into how what a weird song it is.
Hey, another track that I loved, AKA 47.
Yeah, that title just comes from trying to say AK-47 when I was drunk and I said it wrong.
So, I mean, of course, it is an instrumental track. Like 99% of all your tracks are instrumental. Do you think it's weird that I'm looking for a meaning behind that stuff?
No, I think it's natural. I think everyone does, and to be honest, it's kind of part of the fun because people interpret things in different ways and maybe think something that's silly is serious, and sometimes, not so often, but sometimes people think something that's serious is silly, you know. It's just funny to see how people interpret a bunch of random words.
I remember doing an interview years ago in Berlin or Hamburg, and I was speaking to this girl, and she was asking all about the titles, and when I told her they were pretty much gibberish, that it was just like stuff that we'd written down that we thought was funny or that someone said, and she looked absolutely crestfallen because she'd interpreted all these meanings into these different titles.
That was the whole interview going.
And she was really upset and became quite angry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it completely ruined the end of the interview, because it was towards the end of the interview as well, and she just wouldn't accept it. She wouldn't believe it. You
She
know?
thought you guys were pulling her leg, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. She thought I was being an asshole, you know, and I was just telling the truth, and she just wouldn't accept it at all. She was really angry with me, and I'm really sorry.
But it is really cool that this art does affect people in that way. That they make a lot out of it.
Yeah, I mean it's quite humbling, really, that people can become so attached to it. You know, that you get that reaction. You know.
Yeah, I think so too. Hey, one song with vocals, "Party in the Dark." Who's actually singing this?
It's me. Yep.
What's the song about? Gibberish.
Not total gibberish, but pretty kind of cut and paste, kind of random ideas and words that fit together. It's hard to kind of write words. I find it quite difficult, but also I think the most important thing is that they fit with the music. So sometimes you'll just have to get a sentence just to fit with the rhythm and the way the music's going. So kind of over the years I've kind of realised for the style of songs that we put the words to, that's the most important thing. So
Why do you actually? Because probably you guys have been asked this millions of times, but why do you choose to not incorporate vocals on most of your tracks?
I think it's just the way the songs work. When we started the band we had about half and half, and the ones without were a lot better than the ones with. But still occasionally we'll write a piece of music or a song that sounds like it definitely should have vocals, but I'd say for most of them it doesn't feel like they're needed at all for the songs to work.
Because the interesting thing is listening to your albums again and again, that the odd one out with lyrics, it suddenly gives you a heads up, like what? And before that, you don't miss the vocals at all.
Yeah, I'm glad you think that, because I mean, I don't think we've had one or two records with no vocals on them, and no one's ever complained. So yeah, I think you're right.
Hey, that also made me think actually, because you did a lot of experiment with music. Would you ever make an entire electronical album, like drop all the instruments and just do it by samples or do it by computers?
I could probably go on holiday since I'm the guitar player, so yeah, okay. I mean, I don't really know. I don't know what that would really achieve. But I mean, we could do. Yeah, totally.
I mean, dance music is instrumental and it lasts for hours. And I mean, look at Underworld. You know, of course they have a guitar, but they can kick it out as well.
I do. I mean, we could do it definitely, but I do think one of the best things about the band is that we've got quite a good kind of dynamic when we all play together. And I think it would be quite hard to replicate that electronically. I mean, the music would be good, and I mean, we've got a ton of great synths and samplers and sequencers, but yeah.
It was funny because I found a past band member looking through all the people that played with you guys. Like one was listed as guitar and laptop. I was like, wow, this is the first time ever that I found a band member who was listed as playing the laptop.
What was that on?
Let me see. That was John Cummings.
John?
Yeah.
That's why he's not here anymore. His laptop broke.
His laptop crashed. Okay. Who did the artwork for the album?
Same guy that's done the last bunch, a guy called Dave Thomas, a Welsh guy who's really good. He's used to work at Fat Cat Records, and he's done all the covers for our friend's band, The Twilight Sad, as well. And yeah, we just let him go on with it.
Beautiful. Hey, the album, the deluxe version, will be out on the CD and vinyl, and it will include 6 unreleased demos, and they're all different tracks. At Toazted, of course. Why did you put them on the album? Why would you release them as demos?
Because they sounded good, and some of them are a bit different. One in particular is really different. And it kind of just shows the progression of the song, I think. Bass Tune to See was Battered at a Scramble, so it's not that one.
Yeah, they're not different. They're songs from the album.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
They were meant to be changed the name. That's annoying.
But
I told him to do that.
yeah, I know. I remember the email. But yeah, there's one with it, from the record that has the demo has a completely different ending. It's a bit more of a stock sort of Mogwai ending, and Yeah, I just thought, I personally thought it was a good idea to include them because it just shows the difference between, like, you know, because those were just like ideas thrown down in our studio at that time. They were no way finished or anything, we just kind of battered them out, and then, but they sounded good, you know, like the guy who engineered it, Tony, he's the partner in our studio, and he's a brilliant engineer. He's recorded a lot of our records too, and I just thought it'd be a waste just to have them just sitting there, you know, do nothing. And I think they're quite interesting to show the sort of genesis of the album, you know.
So they will be available for people who buy the deluxe version. Will they be on Spotify as well, or
I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't think so.
who decides that?
We do. They're not going to be on Spotify.
There you go.
We made the decision right there, people. Hey, what holds the near future for you guys? More touring?
Yeah, we're working on another soundtrack for a film that's coming out at the end of the year.
Oh wow!
Then
What movie will that be?
we're not allowed to say yet. All will be revealed.
Will it be a documentary as
No,
well?
it's a movie.
Shit, that's good.
Yeah, so that's taking up a bunch of our time and just letting people know about this record and then going out and playing shows.
Lots and lots of shows.
Yeah.
But will you guys actually venture out more into the soundtrack making? Because of course, I mean, after the whole collab with Nine Inch Nails and Leonardo DiCaprio, a lot of heads got turned, of course. And like you said, you were working on the soundtrack again. Is it something that you aspire to?
It's something we enjoy doing. I think it's good to have the opportunity to do it. And yes, in the last few years we've been asked more and more about things, and it's hard to fit it in. But yeah, when it works out, it's great.
You probably get a good buck as well for it, right?
Not always.
Doesn't it pay better than like putting out your own music?
Not particularly. Some of it can, some of it can't. I mean, like there's projects we've done where it's not been that much money at all, but we're into the project, you know. So
It also depends how much time it takes. If it takes you months and months and months and months and months and you get paid the same for 2 good shows, which is still a bunch of money, but whatever. It's not about money, it's about doing good things, you know.